community to ensure that any problem will be handled efficiently, SFI intends to become a valuable, functioning, contributing member of the surrounding community. It is SFI's intent to help clean up the environment and enhance the area, not destroy it. You should welcome SFI because the alternatives for the future of the environment are scary.
All right, the next speaker is Mr. Steve Erving. No. Sit. All right. I'm going to take a 20-minute break, and when I come back, I'm sorry, Mr. Erving, we're going to take a 20-minute break, and then we'll come back and resume the hearing. Thank you.
I object. Look, while she's taking a break, let me tell y'all a few things. All right? And I'm going to put this in the record. She can turn the microphone off.
We are now going to clear the hearing room, and we will call you in one at a time. Officers, clear them out. All right, well then, gentlemen and ladies, sit down, take a seat. We are taking a 20-minute break, and we will resume the hearing. I can start a break. This is a break.
You cannot do that!
20-minute break.
You cannot do that!
I was the fourth speaker to show up here to sign up today. All right? Now, fourth speaker. You see what time it is? It's 8 o'clock. We've been at this for an hour and a half.
You're number 15.
And I'm the number 15 speaker. Now what? It's perfectly normal to let public... But the deck in this case got shuffled. There are people that have been up here to speak who are not public officials. And Dr. Hardy was here at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now the deck got shuffled. And to the public, it makes it look like you've got...
I got to get orders.
Okay, let me have your attention just for 1 minute. As you know, for you that don't know me, I'm Freddie Pitre, and I'm the sheriff of Illville Parish, and I'm in disagreement with the lady. I think this is a public meeting. But I'm gonna tell her. So I'm gonna have it. Let me have your attention. Let me have your attention. But I think for this meeting to get on, although I disagree with her, I think for this meeting to get on, we should have some real order, because if not, we're going to be here till 12 o'clock tonight, and we're not going to accomplish anything. I would appreciate you giving us, giving the people here the undivided attention so we can get this meeting and get it over with. If this way, we're not going to accomplish anything. And I think if we stay here tonight, we're united, and I think we're going to win.
All right, everyone take a seat. Deputies, come in. Deputies, come in. Everyone have a seat. Everyone have a seat and resume order. The sheriff's office and the state police will clear the hearing room. Now sit down and be quiet. We're going to call you one at a time. Clear the room. Clear the room.
about to be arrested? I don't want to be arrested. I don't want to be arrested. Marvin loves
She is crazy.
Bring it over there. Just hang over it.
I don't think they do. I suggest you get to I mean, if they don't understand the break, it's just for you to I said a 20-minute break. 20-minute break? 20-minute break. Okay. Go talk to them. I mean, yeah, and then you'll be put on the list to talk.
Yeah, I'll bring it to you.
We're going in order of 1 and 1 and 1. They're upset because I'm going 1, 1 and 1. They think it should be all the interveners first, and then that's what I was.
Just want to ask
Thank
you
you.
a couple of questions.
Wait, I'm in a few minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I understand.
asking anyone to leave. Now, if there be an altercation, a fight, or something, then I'll personally get them out of here. As long as they're expressing their opinion, and booing, and so from the opposed and cheering them up. I see the President of the United States talking, they applaud him, and they don't tell him you got to leave the room. I'm taking a break. We're going to speak some more. I think she's all wet. I really do.
Thank you, Freddie.
That's my feeling.
Votes here, too.
I also gave permission for the Reverend to speak.
All right.
Okay.
Let me check
Go
that
check
out.
with her.
She's ready to go whenever you are.
Okay.
Okay. Can we have quiet? Can we have quiet, please? Can we turn it on? Thank you.
Please don't hold it too close to your mouth.
We won't.
Let me have your attention, please. Let me have your attention, please. Will everyone be seated?
Gonna switch it?
DEQ is ready to resume. Will you please give them your undivided attention? Okay, we hope that peace and calm can prevail. Whatever you do, let it be in moderation, please. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have a seat. The next speaker's coming on. I merely took a break to get something to drink. Now, the next speaker is going to present his name and address, and after the two next speakers will be Wayne Broussard and Warren Berthelot. Mr. Steve Erving.
My name is Steve Erving, 18541 Bay Ridge Court, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm here. I represent the Wildlife Refuge, so my clients are furry and have feathers and can't be here to speak for themselves, so I'm here to talk for them. I don't know who paid for the lab girl from Tennessee to come down here and talk to you and read the permit application, but and we certainly are not allowed to ask the question. However, if you aren't being paid, and if you have no financial interest in this permit, when you come up to the microphone from now on, why don't you say so? And then when the people come up and they don't say anything about it, you're going to know they're the ones. Now, frankly, the situation here is a little bit strange. As I told y'all off the record before I was cut off during the break, I was the fourth speaker to sign up tonight. Everybody that was ahead of me, there was the guy from the Louisiana Geological Survey and three other opponents. The deck got shuffled here somewhere because, as you see, they're starting to intersperse proponents and opponents. Now, the funny thing about it is, I refused to tell them which side I was on because I knew they were going to try to do something like that. But so somebody decided that for me anyway, you see, because they put me in an opponent slot. I don't think they have any right to do that. That has not been done in the past. It does not give the record a fair, objective view of what the opposition is really like. It makes it look like this is a 50-50 opponents deal. And frankly, when you have half the people coming up here to read out of the permit application to you, which is really what's going on, then, you know, that's 10 minutes, and then you got another one, and then you got another 10 minutes. There are a lot of you that aren't being paid to be here. You don't have any financial interest in this. You'd like to come here and talk, but you're not going to be able to wait around long enough to get a chance if I'm the fourth person to sign up. Now, letting public officials go ahead is normal. That's okay. But when it comes to the citizenry who come to talk, they ought to be allowed to talk, in the order in which they come, and not in the order in which the bureaucracy thinks they ought to be able to talk, which is what's going on here. Now, I'd like to point out some other things. Some of this is kind of legal technical stuff, but it really, I think, is important. We asked this to be an adjudicatory hearing tonight, which would mean we'd get a chance to subpoena witnesses and cross-examine people. We had some questions for some people. You know, tonight you don't get to ask any questions, but we wanted a chance to ask some questions. They denied that. I think their denial is wrong, and I think you're going to get a chance to talk, because I think they're going to wind up having to come back here to do this again when we appeal it, and so you're going to get another hearing at which you'll get a chance to talk. At that point in time, maybe the deck won't get shuffled. Now, you know, this permit has been handled very strangely. All right, the permit application was accepted for review at some point without telling anybody. It was only months later that anybody found out it was there. I think on April the 2nd, they finally run an ad in the newspaper to tell you about it. The only problem is that the ad was run in the Gonzales newspaper. Sometime between April 2nd and May 13th, somebody at DEQ figured out that St. Gabriel was at Iberville Parish instead of Ascension. And so then they had to rerun it in Iberville Parish. The only problem was that when they ran it in Iberville Parish, they couldn't figure out when and where they were going to hold the hearing, so they didn't put it in the notice. And it would have been really hard to get there because it didn't tell you where to go or what to do, or even when to be there, and not even what day to be there. You couldn't have been really ready for it, though, because they held the hearing, I think, 6 days later. And that hearing, by the way, was in Baton Rouge, and I think that was illegal, too. I think that hearing had to be in this community, and we're going to find out about that. Now, there are a lot of technical problems with this proposal. You're not going to find anything in the permit application about the on-site geology. You know, take some borings on-site, find out what the soil is like. You're not going to find that because they didn't do it. In the permit application, they do have some geology information. You know, there are some soil borings that were there. Now, the little heading at the top of it to tell you where it was taken and who it was taken for was obliterated, so you couldn't tell where it come from. But somebody did eventually figure out that it was at a site 6 miles away instead of this one. You know, totally different kind of soil and everything else. Now, I don't know how that document got in there, but it certainly was not representative of what it was supposed to be. Now, SFI, at least SFI's affiliated company, Nordics, and it's kind of hard to figure out how they're affiliated. You know, Nordics isn't exactly one entity. There's a Nordics, and then there's a Nordics, and then there's another Nordics, or there's what used to be a Nordics. They started out as a Nordics, and then it changed its name, and they formed a new Nordics, and then they formed a Louisiana Nordics and a Delaware Nordics. And, man, you can't figure out which one is which. However, the Nordic site, whichever corporation it is that's next door to this one, did have some geotechnical work done by Woodward Clyde, which is a fairly respected engineering company. And some of the people who did find out in time and did manage to intervene in the first hearing that they had found out about it. And that document is very, very interesting, and it was introduced in that hearing, and I would like to be sure that it becomes a part of this record and is looked at. It was introduced as HB 20 in the original hearing. And without going into the gory details of it, this geotechnical consultant for Nordics and whatever relationship Nordics has to SFI, nobody knows, and maybe not even the people involved with Nordics and SFI know. But at any rate, in this preliminary report, they found that the soils were not suitable to build tanks on the property right next door. Now, I hate to tell you, but if the property right next door isn't a good place to build tanks, it's very, very unlikely that the property right, next door is going to be okay. They had soft spots and all kinds of, and we're talking about forming the foundation for the tanks is what we're talking about. You don't have to worry about fires or anything else. Let's talk about the foundation for the tanks, and this soil isn't adequate for that foundation. Now, that creates a problem, because if the foundation isn't any good, you may get leaks, and if you may get leaks, then you may get fires, which kind of brings me to the next topic, and Mr. Lemaire made a comment about this already, but we looked at the levels of metals. People don't think much about metals, but there are some metals like lead that are very, very dangerous. They're very hazardous. And this facility proposes to generate fuel that has lead in it at like 1,000 parts per million, maybe up to 4,000 parts per million. Now, folks, that's a lot of lead. That is a very great deal of lead. And in fact, let me give you some examples. A fire with that stuff, you don't want to be there without a respirator on. How many respirators does your local fire department have? I understand they have a pumper truck. How many respirators do they have that are going to be able to handle a fire of a fuel fire with a heavy concentration of lead? Now, I haven't mentioned the chromium yet, which is also pretty bad stuff, and it's in there too at pretty high levels. The local fire department's not going to be able to handle that. And if you think that some of the other chemical plants up and down the river are going to come in here to help them put a fire out without knowing what is in here, don't bet on it. They're not going to risk their personnel coming in here. So a fire at this facility is going to be a very big hazard. It's going to be very bad. Now, all that lead and the chromium and all these metals and everything, I know they think they're going to operate a facility for 19 years and never have a spill. There ain't any facility that's been in operation for 19 years handling liquid material like this that has never had a spill or had one spill. Don't believe that. That does not happen. There isn't anybody that careful. There have been plenty of spills. Now, they may have cleaned them up, but don't believe that there hadn't been any spills. Those things spill, they're going to wind up in the water. It's going to contaminate Spanish Lake. It's going to contaminate the wildlife. It's going to contaminate the fish. It's going to contaminate the birds. And that is going to hurt those little furry critters and the ones with feathers that I represent. And I object to that. Now, I think, and I really do think, that this hearing tonight is not really what this facility needs. It needs to have a full adjudicatory hearing. An adjudicatory hearing is like the one that we had in the IT case. You know, I was the attorney for the interveners in the IT case that fought that thing for 9 years. And they drafted me to come out of retirement and work on this one. I didn't really want to do it, but enough of them come to see me, I finally said, all right, I'll do it. And I said, if you can provoke a hearing like that, I'll come in and we'll have some fun with it. And we will have some fun with this one, because the IT facility was technically a light year ahead of this one. Now, for more reasons than I can count. I mean, they at least had borings, you know, on site. I mean, they did at least find out what the soil was like. That did them in eventually, and that's probably why you don't have any in this case. But they did at least look. Now, we need to have an adjudicatory hearing where we get to call, we issue those subpoenas that we asked DEQ to issue, that they refused to issue because they didn't want to find out what we were going to find out when we asked the questions. Well, those subpoenas, those need to be issued. People need to come in, they need to answer our questions, they need to answer to us, explain what it is they're going to do. We'll take it apart, just give us a chance. Now you say, well, there was an adjudicatory hearing on this thing already. They already had a chance. Wrong. DEQ in that hearing said the only thing that's at issue is the completeness of the permit application. Well, guess what? They're not right about that either. But it didn't get to the technical merits. Is my time up? They didn't get to the technical merits. Neither have I tonight. This ain't the place to do it. Y'all be quiet. I've never seen anybody challenge the audience so many times so fast. She's obviously got a short fuse. Be very calm and quiet. Thank y'all.
The next speaker.
To come up here and speak. I tell it like it is. I think she's the most vicious person I've ever seen in my life. Me being the sheriff, I've been here 6 hours and 50 minutes, signed up at 5:30, and I know for sure my eyes don't lie. I saw people coming here way after me speak before me, and I don't appreciate it. And she thinks she was hurting me. She's not hurting me, because you know what she did? She saved the best for last. For you that don't know me, I'm Sheriff Freddie Pitre. I've been your sheriff since August the 28th, 1978. I've been elected 4 terms. My main job is to protect life and property, and I'm here for one reason, to oppose the permit for SFI. Definitely opposed to it. The Louisiana Sheriff's Association had a very important meeting in Lafayette which we were up there discussing some very important business, but none of them was as important as the business here tonight. That's why I'm here. And I would like to know how these people can come in a community where 95 to 97% of the people are opposed to them. How can they come here? I wouldn't dare think of going in a community where I wasn't welcome. And I would like for them to cease trying to get a permit, go back to Tennessee with it, and bring that lady with them. She'd be the best employee you ever had. Let me have your attention. And like I said, y'all elected me to protect life and property. I feel sorry for my friend, Mr. Warren Braithwaite over there, putting his life savings in the house that he's been wanting to have all his life to raise his family. And I don't know what he's going to do with it. He can't sell it. Nobody can buy it next to a cesspool. That's for sure. And for your life, let me tell you, whether they bring that chemical in by rail, whether they bring it in by tank car, you let one of these tanks spill and rupture at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you won't wake up to see it. I can assure you that, to read about it. I want to commend the people over here, the NN, to neighbors for neighbors, to forward this fight. You had the guts to fight it. Let me tell you, we may have lost the battle, but we're going to win the war. And I'm not going to take 10 minutes to say I wanted to make it brief to the point. And they were talking about, one fellow was talking about the jobs they're going to bring. Bull corn, there's no jobs. Let me tell you, we've got enough people in Iberville Parish, qualified people, to run any plant from plant manager down to the county labor. You know why they got to go out of state and go away? Because they're hiring all of these people from different parishes and different states when they should be hiring our local people. I live in Plaquemine, and I guarantee you at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the afternoon, you go up there, dial. Every 10 cars that go towards Baton Rouge and Mississippi, you got one coming south. If they would hire our local people, we wouldn't have to be leaving here looking for jobs elsewhere. And in closing, I want to tell you, I appreciate what you're doing. Keep up the good fight, and I want to carry the ball and help you lead your fight, and we're going to win the war. Thank you very much.
I got to give it a few more.